Welcome everyone to the Cursor Meetup in Seattle. Let's get a round of applause. How many people were here at the last Cursor Seattle Meetup back in October? All right, so a lot of new people to Cursor Meetups. That's awesome. So a couple things before we get started. Probably the most important thing, how do you get Wi-Fi? It's right up here on the screen. Take a picture if you don't have Wi-Fi yet. But you'll be able to track all this live up here. We're also running a live stream. So if you need to see anything or watch a recap, you can see that as well. And with that, we'll get started. So my name is Adam Burgh. I created the organization We Build with AI about a year ago. I run a lot of events here in Seattle to help anyone, regardless of technical experience, start building with AI tools. So over the last year, I've run over 50 events. Over 3,000 people have attended it. Anything from build nights to workshops to internal hackathons and trainings for companies. You can see some of the people that have come through the workshops and companies that I've worked with. My background personally led product growth and marketing teams at early stage startups, growth stage startups, as well as big tech. And I'm very involved, besides doing these events, also with AI Tinkerers, expert residence at AI2 Incubator, and also on the board for the Harvard Business School Alumni Association. If you want to join an upcoming event, you can find it on my Luma page. If you want to sponsor or have a proposal for an event, you can send me an email as well. Here are a couple of the upcoming events that I have. And if you want to watch this live stream or the recap, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. So with that, I want to thank our space sponsors, ThinkSpace. So Peter over there in the back taking all the pictures. If you want to find out more information, you can talk to him. Co-working space, addresses if you want to form a corporation, etc. Also want to thank Mother India Cuisine, which is just a couple blocks down here, for providing the food. And with that, I want to introduce our agenda. So we are going to have a review of some of the most recent Cursor features, as well as other ones that Shrey thinks is important for you all to know. We'll have 4 live demos for people who have used Cursor to build their own products. And then at the end, we'll have time for networking. Feel free to get drinks and food throughout the evening. And want to introduce Shrey, if you want to come up. He just moved here to Seattle, so let's all give him a warm welcome. I don't know if you can counter Seattle footage, but live events is not where you can counter that. So I don't know if you want me to introduce or you want to introduce yourself.
I can introduce.
Okay, cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Shrey. So I'm a Cursor ambassador for Seattle, and I'm also working as a senior AI engineer at Microsoft. I'm a global speaker, has spoken at various conferences about AI agent development and AI assisted coding. I've been coding using AI for over 6 years. I started coding with AI in early 2020 with Copilot and have been a Cursor user since, I guess, May or June 2023. So very early. I've been using Cursor extensively for all of my work, all of my side projects. I also used to use Cursor extensively in my previous role as well. So I have really good experience working with Cursor. I've been hosting Cursor events like this throughout Canada. Just moved here from Canada recently, so thought of doing this in Seattle as well, as there were not a lot of events going on for Cursor in Seattle. Today I wanted to talk about a few of the new Cursor features that were released in the last few months. The main topic that I want to focus on is going to be reviewing the demos and not the diff. So I've noticed that I can ship anything I want really fast with any coding agent, right? Not just Cursor, but like any coding agent. But with Cursor, I can ship things really fast. But that's not the point, because when I'm shipping, especially in production, I can ship really fast. I can have the agents write 30,000 lines of code in a day, but I cannot review 30,000 lines of code manually myself. It is not physically possible for me to review all of that code. So how can we solve it, right? So that's going to be the main topic of my talk. But before I get to that, I wanted to just talk about a few cursor features that make it really easy to use or be more productive with cursor. So one of my favorite new features is this auto review in run mode, which means that cursor's own router determines whether a command or anything that cursor does is safe or not. If it's not safe, it is going to prompt the user for them. So you don't have to manually manage a secured or allowed command list. So this makes autonomous version agents much more secure, as you don't have to like worry about having an allow list and then deny list and then managing both of them, and then like if it's not part of that, I think it's not going to work. So you come back to cursor's agent after an hour, and then you realize that the cursor has not progressed because you ran into an issue. It needed your approval to do something, right? So auto review mode takes care of most of those commands while still being secure. You can still be prompted for allowing a specific command, but it is much more secure and much less frequent than if you were to use it without it. If you use like Cloud Core Auto Mode, this is exactly that. Apart from that, I think this is, the most favorite feature that I have that Cursor offers. Not just Cursor, but I think all the coding agents offer, period. Because I believe that if you are having the agent write code for you and do all of your code, create all the tickets for you, work on all the tickets for you, create the PRs for you, it's not an agent, it's basically your employee, right? So if you're hiring a junior developer, you're going to set a full-blown developer environment for that person. But if you're not doing it for the agent is not going to have access to the same tools that you do as a developer. Because of that, the agents cannot do end-to-end validation a lot of times. I'm specifically talking about cloud agents. Assume that you have Microsoft Teams or Slack. You kick off an agent from there. If it doesn't have access to the same development environment as you have in your local, it is not going to be able to do end-to-end validation. And because of that, it is not going to be as efficient. You're not going to be able to trust the agent's work because it cannot validate its own outputs end-to-end, especially in the cloud environments. Because if you're running a fleet of agents or working on multiple different tasks at a time, you have to use cloud agents, right? So this is what makes it really, really easy. Also, you can set up multi-repo environments for the cloud agents. So it has full context over all of your repos or all of the services that you're working with. So it just makes it really, really easy to get the coding agent to do all of the end-to-end validation that you need for the agents to really be efficient with it and trust its own output. Shared canvases. So shared canvases are basically interactive artifacts created by agents like, oh, what? Is it? So I was talking about stuff that was not, okay. Yeah, okay. Now it's showing up. All right, yeah. So shared canvases are basically any artifact that you can create with an agent, like a report you're working on, a dashboard, a PRT, right? Any interface that you want to share with your team, so you can easily share that with your team. Let's see a quick demo of that. This can be a PRT. I think, as you might have noticed, that nowadays people are using HTML to create PRDs. So if you were to create a PRD as an HTML and if you were to share that with your colleague, you can easily do that with canvases. So that is the shared canvas feature that Cursor just released. If you have used any of the login agents, for example, Codex and Cloudcore has goal. This is essentially the same thing for Cursor. It just keeps working on a task until the task is done. Very simple. Cursor automations, right? These are basically you can attach multiple different repos to automation to, for example, like find bugs on a schedule, right? And it can just do that. You can have the agents automatically review all of your PR review comments and create an automation that will update all of the Cursor rules and skills based on the feedback that you received from your peers on that PR. So if you have people commenting on your PR, which obviously people would be, right? You can take that data. All of the data is really, really valuable. So you can create an automation, for example, that would taking all of those peer review comments based on that, update your skills and rules. So the next time the agent works on similar tasks, it's not going to be the same issue, right? It's not going to make the same mistake. So that's what you can enable with multi-repo automations or Cursor automations in general. You can also have non-repo automations, right? So this is sort of like Cloud Code, where not Cloud Code, Open Cloud, where you can have the Cursor's agent like autonomously consume X or Slack or whatever you want, and it will send you updates for that on Slack or whatever channel you pick. You can also pin skills as quick actions, so that it just becomes a button and you can just click on that to execute that skill, which makes it really handy. Very simple feature, but really helpful, really handy. Now, I wanted to get back to the main topic that I wanted to discuss, which is long context deep comprehension. So as you all know that, writing code is really easy, right? The agents can produce thousands of lines of code every single day, but reviewing it is really hard. And obviously, since we cannot physically review the code, we need to build systems that will allow us to review the code and find bugs more efficiently. Obviously, if you're going to use agents to do that, we need to understand which model is the most effective for finding issues, right? And also, the amount of context you're sending to your agent, that matters a lot as well, because without that, the agents either might not have full context of the issue and it might hallucinate, but if you send it too much context, it might also hallucinate because it cannot reason through thousands of lines of code, right? So this is why it's good to understand the long context comprehension, meaning that which models perform the best when given the long context. So this chart was, this table was a month old, but as you can see that with everything that we have, like we have Opus and all these models, GPT 5.5, but GPT 5.2 works really, really well across long context. Even at 200,000 tokens, its actual score is 96.9, meaning that if you're going to use GPT 5.2 for code review, it's going to catch more bugs because it can just reason through long context more efficiently than other models.
What's the benchmark for this 96.9?
That's just like how well the model keeps the context when given really long context. So for example, like if you ask it a really specific question across like a mountain of text, how well the model is able to reason through it and give you a correct answer.
Was 4.660?
That's what it's saying, yes. Well, so probably it doesn't have the full 192K tokens context window. That's probably why, because Opus 4.6 has a 1 million version, but I think this is probably for the 200,000 tokens model. So the 200,000 tokens is for both input and output. So there is some context that is reserved for the input output. So when it says 200,000 tokens, 200,000 tokens is not for full input context, right? I don't know the exact number for the input context for Opus Open 6, but some is reserved for that. That's why it says 0, because it cannot consume 192 tokens. So that's probably the reason why they have marked 0 for Opus Open 6. Now, code review bench. Again, we need to understand which models perform best for code review. So Factory AI did this analysis on code review to see which model performs best for code review. And as you can see, GPT 5.2 is at top. And now we know why. Because it is able to comprehend or find the needle in the haystack really well compared to other models. Because it can work through the long context really well. Which is why picking the right model for the review also matters a lot. Not just the model, tools also matter, right? Which tool will perform the best when you are trying to do a code review? So, according to this code review leaderboard, which I always keep an eye on, I can probably just open the website. Yeah. So this it stops the. Okay. So according to this, Gemini Code Assist works really well for code review, and the second is Code Rapid. This keeps changing as the models change, but I always look at this benchmark to see which tool should I be using for code review. This really helps me pick the right tools for the right task, which is why I also never for any tool for a year, because it keeps changing every single month when a new model drops. But yeah, you can see like what is the highest precision, like what tool gives you the highest precision, which is like Graphite, which is cursor. What is best for concurrency? What is the best for complex code? There's much more areas you can filter and figure out like what fits your use case. But you should like, for example, if you're using TypeScript, you can probably figure out, okay, if I am using TypeScript code, which tool is going to be the best for finding bugs? Like if you're using Java, then you know that code is going to be the best tool for reviewing your code. So pick the tool based on your stack, and you're going to get the best results. Now, why am I talking about all these tools, right? I showed about all these tools, but I did not mention cursor. But I think even after having the best tools, even after catching all the issues, catching all the bugs, you're going to have to manually review the PR. Even if the agents or these tools got all the issues for you, the PR looks clean. Are you going to be able to trust the output and just merge the PR in production? No. If it's a white-coded app, yes. But if it's production, you're probably not going to do it, right? So why cursor, right? And I think this goes back to the managed environments for cloud agents in cursor. I think that's why it is different. So for example, I had a really basic task manager app. I asked cursor, hey cursor, I want to convert this application, which is just a template, a Next.js template, into a task manager app. I want you to create a PR for this, and I want you to show me a demo video of what you built. And I gave it access to Labs API. So I said, hey, I don't just want a demo, but I also want you to tell me your thought process behind it, why you did what you did, right? I want to understand what decisions the model made before I review the PR. If I can review the demo, it's going to make me much more confident about reviewing the PR. Before I spend an hour reviewing the PR, I want to make sure that the code actually works, right? This allows me to do that. So for some reason, the in-person, the video in the app does not play the audio. So I'm going to play it locally.
Here is the new Flow Pilot landing page for your app. The hero presents a calm, focused value proposition with clear sign-up and sign-in paths. Flow Pilot landing page for the Task Manager app.
Sorry, I think it's it is already Adams. Yeah.
It's
That on.
like the mic through
Here is the new Flow Pilot landing page for the Task Manager app. The hero presents a calm, focused value proposition with clear sign-up and sign-in paths. The product mock-up shows priority tasks, project health, saved focus time, and unblocked owners. Scrolling down, the page highlights planning, flexible views, and smart reminders, then explains the workflow from capture to prioritization to shipped work. The final section adds social proof and a strong call to action.
So I don't know what's going on. It is first. There you go. Yeah. So the point is, you can have Cursor produce a demo first. You review the demo first of whatever you're building, and you can also create demos for your backend as well. Like for example, if you're working on an API request, since it's a full computer use, it can open a terminal, send an API request, and you can also see the responses. The point is, without this, I would have to clone the repo manually in my machine, run it locally, see the output, and then see if it's worth my time reviewing the PR or not. Because here I can validate, I can already see that the agent is doing what it's supposed to do, and the PR or the work meets my expectation or not. And then I decide whether it's worth reviewing the PR or not, right? It's just like better use of my time. And if you're working on any front-end project, I think this is amazing because for front-end, it just works really, really well because this also leads the model into verification path for itself, because when it tries to create a demo, it has to actually review the screens one by one. It's going to force the model to actually validate its own work and fix the mistake if there's any mistakes during execution. I will not be able to run this live because it takes an hour for it to do everything end to end. But this was the main point that I was trying to make, that out of all the features, I think we need to talk more about the code review and reviewing the demos and not the dev, because I believe that that makes all the difference when you're shipping extremely fast. So that was my talk, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to connect with me, send a request on LinkedIn. But yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Just a quick question. When you ask Fisher to create a demo video with the sound, with the specification, all that, is it directly generated by Cursor? Is it directly generated by Cursor, or does that actually opens up like a new tab and then recorded in the browser window?
Yeah, so it is directly generated by Cursor, meaning that it will actually open up a computer. If I did it live, you will actually see a desktop here. I might be able to load it now as well, but basically, yeah. So it actually lets it even take control of the desktop. It's an actual desktop that Cursor spins up, and this is why it's different than all the other cloud agents, because this has an actual desktop that the Cursor's agent can use like an engineer. And this is why you can do this with Cursor, not with other tools. And this is why this is my favorite feature because of that, because it allows me to just produce demos. And if I wanted to, for example, take control of the machine, I can. This is a machine that I can control as well if something goes wrong.
Yeah, got it. Okay, yeah, that makes it like a lot more valuable in case, you know, a cursor wants to school send a video and try to, you know, dupe you in that way.
Yeah, no. So it's a real computer user, not just playwright.
Doesn't Panos do something similar? Spin up.
Hey, thanks for the demo. I guess I have like two main questions. So one is I used to have like a monorepo setup, and so I used to use the kind of the cursor cloud agents, but then now I have like a basically like a microservices mainly architecture. And so I'm wondering if you've also set that up before in cursor. And the second question is, I feel like oftentimes whenever I'm triaging bugs, like I like cursor automation to basically look through Sentry and then triage those bugs. But I feel like oftentimes what helps the agents the most is basically going through AWS logs, for example. So like let's say you have a bunch of CloudWatch logs. So going through all of them and then actually feeding that context to the agent and triaging. I'm wondering, like, do you have any opinions on, I guess, giving agents access to something like AWS, for example? Because obviously, like, it would still need to authenticate through like AWS SSO. And so you probably don't want to make it like full permissions. But yeah, kind of curious your take on that.
Yeah. So for the first question, you can set up multi-repo environment for the agent. So you can have your own Docker image that the agents can use. So that when it spins up, it has access to all of your repos. And then in your rules or in your prompt, maybe, you can have the agents, you can give the agents context that, hey, these are the repos that you have to work in. And all these services have to be spun up before you actually start testing or start implementing your work. So the agent knows that, hey, I have these 2 repos, or these 3 repos, or 5 repos that I need to first take a look at, run the services, and then work on them. So that's the answer to the first question. The second question is you can probably create a service user for your AWS account and give it necessary permissions. And then you can actually set up secrets in the cloud environment. So for example, if I go to settings, if I go to, this might have changed, but if I go to cloud agents, I might have some secrets here. Yeah. So for example, in order to produce the audio for the demo video, I have given it access to my Elon Lab API key, so you see the secret key, right? So if you were to give it access to AWS, you would give it the cloud agent access to your AWS credential. So now it can also see your AWS logs and work on it. So that should solve the issue.
Makes sense. All right, thanks so much.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for your demos. I just wanted to ask really quick, how many tokens does that take?
Probably 1 million, more than 1 million. But you know, it gets a job done, right? So it's the way I see it is like if I'm going to spend my time reviewing the diff and spending an hour, it is much more expensive. My time is much more expensive than the tokens. As long as I'm doing it right and have all the guardrails that the agents actually produce useful artifacts, it is worth it. If it's not producing anything useful to me, then I think, yeah, it's probably too much, but yeah.
I always think it's worth it, but my company may not think that it is worth it.
Just do it yourself and then have the agent do it.
Hi. So I was wondering, do you know how this approach would compare to if you had a cursor or any other agent build out the app and then have something like OpenClaw tell it to record a demo, like open it in a browser, test it out?
So OpenClaw might be able to do it, right? So I don't have this agent, and I try to do it so many times. It doesn't do it as reliably as Cursor's Cloud Agent because it doesn't have the same environment. Right? You will like try to spin up a playwright instance, right? Like I give it access to like playwright CLI skill, and it tries to do it, but it doesn't do it that efficiently, and the demos don't look the same. They don't look the great. So what I ended up doing is I ended up giving my having access to my Cursor's account, Cursor CLI, have it spin up the cloud agent, and the cloud agent then does all the work, reports back the video, and then the Hermes agent sends that video back to me. So I'm still able to use the Hermes agent to produce the same demo videos, but through Cursor, because that is just much more efficient and it actually works, and I can trust it. The main thing is trust, right? Like if you're not going to be able to trust the output, then it's no good. So I think that's why, so far for me at least, if I am able to produce a demo, I think Cursor agent does the best job at producing demo.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. With that, I think I'm going to conclude my demo. We have the next speaker. Sparsh is going to join us. He is going to talk about TuneLoom. So I'm going to hand the stage over to him.
Done. No, okay. Wonderful. So it was 7 a.m. in the morning. I was in a layover in Minneapolis, jet lagged, tired, and doing my usual Twitter scroll. And I happened to find a tweet that says that the term baby music is searched about 800,000 times a month. So I was like, that's a big number. I wonder if babymusic.ai domain is available. And it was 70 bucks. And I was like, I may use it, I may not. Why not I buy it? So voila, I buy babymusic.ai. As I'm boarding my plane, doing my regular tweet, doom scrolls, Twitter doom scrolling, I see another tweet, which was about a research that a certain type of music, if kids under the age of 5 are exposed to, their ability to understand pitch increases manyfold. So that was another weird coincidence about how music impacts cognition. So I went into a research rabbit hole and I found out there are various different kinds of music that is proven across various different studies to improve emotional ability and cognition for kids under the age of 5. So I said, this can't be a coincidence. I saw a research about music and its impact on babies. Me buying the domain babymusic.ai, and then finally I see a tweet that 800,000 people search for the term baby music. And TuneLoom was founded. So I'll give you a quick introduction on TuneLoom. TuneLoom is, I think of it as a music generation tool that uses neuroscience research, and it helps new parents replace CoComelon and other overstimulating content with music that will be proven to improve their cognitive abilities and their emotional abilities. You can check TuneLoom out, but what it essentially does is it creates deeply personalized music. So your kid is having trouble eating broccoli, create a song about Sophia eating broccoli in the moment and play along, sing along. You're running out of time, you have to go in a park, and your little kid is not wearing shoes. Why not create a song about shoes and play along and encourage them to take that action? Now that's just the first part of it, right? The entertainment part of it. But in the background, when you create this music, choose goals. You can choose goals like emotional anxiety. You could choose goals like sleep. You could choose something like music abilities. And you could create the music based on these specific goals that will help your child in these ways. So let me quickly give you few parts of the app that I'm really proud of. And then I'll leave with some of the crazy learnings that I have learned based on it. So here's, I think, the most important part of any iOS app, the onboarding. So let's quickly go through it. Now, I'll take a quick pause and point out a few learnings here. If you would notice, right in the beginning, right after a user says get started, they would have to make a promise where they'll have to physically create a check mark, they'll get confetti, and they'll feel haptics for it. So as I was building it, I learned that if you take a small little promise from the user in the beginning, their likelihood of continuing all of the rest of the process goes up, significantly. So if you're building an app, take a promise, take an early buy-in. It's similar to the psychological principle where if you ask a small favor from somebody and they say yes, subconsciously they'll believe that they like you and they're more likely to say yes for bigger favors also. Okay. Awesome. So I will run through this onboarding and you can see some of the other parts of it. Example that they use to see. And then before I show you what's inside the app, I'll quickly point out that the CTA there, try for $0. Duolingo ran a lot of A/B testing and figured out that try for free works okay-ish, continue works very well, but try for $0, increases your conversion by 4 times or 5 times. It's very effective CTA. So if you're ever adding CTAs in your app, try for 0. Now I'll quickly skip to the demo part of it. So here's how a playtime song would feel like.
Sophia claps, clap, clap, clap your hands just like that. Sophia jumps, jump, jump up and down. Bump, bump, bump. Sophia moves today.
So you can see this is a simple playtime song. It takes a minute for a parent to create. Some of the songs will be preset. And it has been working very well. I get about 300 downloads a month. I run meta ads, and I'm finally slowly, trying to monetize it, and it's I'm seeing good progress. I'll show you one last video, which is the retention hook. So
dreamy world, close your eyes and rest your head, tied to snuggle in your bed.
Full constellation.
Soft and gentle all around.
So that helps. And then
Not a single
get a notification every evening, and the app learns about their previous playtime. So that's why it will learn over time their appropriate baby sleep time. They'll send them the notification on that appropriate time, and I get about 70% retention. So most about 70% people use the app daily for at least 4 times of the 7 trial days. And there you go. That was a basic demo of the TuneLoom app. It's on App Store. I would love for you all to check it out. And then I can take questions now.
First one, so tell us about your tech stack, like kind of how did you convert, it's an iPhone app right now, right? So what was the process? What do you use for backend?
Yeah, the first thing this started as a web app. It was a pure React web app. And I realized that parents don't like to go on a website to create songs and play songs. And I had to quickly figure out a way to convert it into iOS. So there's a thing called this capacitor, which basically is a wrapper around a web app. And you could use it to, host your app on iOS App Store.
That's a lot like what I put in percentage. Not your app, but what I do, or what I've done. Are you not on the Android store for a reason, or just started with iOS?
2 things. One, just my own personal focus. I am building it entirely solo. So, I want to create amazing experience and focus on iOS. And second, the likelihood of me making money is higher in the beginning for iOS users than Android.
So you put in the name, the age of the baby and whatnot, and are the songs like, do you also use AI to synthesize those songs?
Yes, everything like the songs, the music. So there's lyrics and then there's the music. Both of them, there's a whole process where I create the lyrics, then generate the music. So, use different models to do that. Initially, those songs were terrible. I had to use some stitching. So there's a lot going on, but yes, the entire thing is AI. The demo, all AI.
You did mention the songs were initially terrible. So do you have a better model now to synthesize songs on the fly, or is it just like a catalog of songs for common names?
Yeah, so the bet I made when I started building this app is that LLMs are the worst right now. So what that meant was I kept building everything with the hope that as different models improve, the quality of the songs will improve, and that bet paid out. So over time, the kind of lyrics, they got better, and the models got better at understanding the natural tonality of the lyrics itself. And so combining music to lyrics became much easier for the models, and the music quality became better.
All right, thank you. Yeah, incredible research, love the research.
Thank you.
I have a similar use case. I want to create a bunch of songs for some of my friends. I use AI quite a lot. So this is not a technical question, but more of a product positioning question. So I basically prompt AI started a lot at prompting, also the lyrics. So I just use Cloud Code to generate the prompt, generate the lyrics as well, and it was very specific. I just switched on Whisper Flow, spoke to it for like 10 minutes. It gave me the entire lyrics, beats per minute, feel the mood, all of that. I just went to AI, copy pasted it, and then created amazing songs. So how is your product different, and why can't? Again, I'll go ahead and say that I don't like these sort of questions, but I mean.
No, that's an amazing question. I totally get it. It's the same reason Headspace works as a meditation app, even though you could go to YouTube and ask for meditation, or Calm works as a, similarly a meditation app, because users pay for customization, convenience. For a parent who's, a toddler parent who's 1 year old, the ability to get to the best kind of curated music in the nicest experience possible is more important than going to stream. So it's the same thing. The reason Headspace and Calm works, that's why TuneLoom works. It's the pure personalization and customization over extra effort.
Last question.
Earlier you mentioned try for $0 was a really good marketing technique. As a fellow founder and app developer, I wanted to ask other more like engagement type questions regarding marketing, just because that is really helpful information.
Quickly, I'll go through the list. First off, the onboarding paradox. For a regular web app, if you're buying a product online, the assumption is reduce the number of steps from, when you see the product to purchase, and the likelihood of the purchase will go up. For apps, longer onboarding are known to convert better. And that is because when users put in effort to go through 12, 15 screens, they don't like to drop off because they would feel like their effort has been wasted. So try longer onboarding as well. Second thing is customize based on each response. So the moment I get the baby name, the baby's age, so if the baby's name is Sophia, I say, make a promise to Sophia. Or if there's a quiz, for every response they give, I immediately show some custom response within the app to make that engaging. I would also say that make sure that early on there's a massive aha moment for the user within the onboarding. And finally, I would say that do not just think of the onboarding flow in terms of what the user does or sees. Think of it in the terms of the feelings a user goes through. So a user can go through excitement, they could be contemplative, they could be calm. Each of those emotions have to land at the right page. For example, they need to be excited at the aha moment, right before you ask their rating. They need to be very calm and cool right before the payment page. So always think about the emotions that the user is going through, and that'll increase conversion. But yeah, that's all. You could ask more tips, separately. I'm happy to give you more information. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. It's insane that I made a damn app, but I cannot quit.
All right, give me 2 seconds. Let's see if I can set screen share up. Screen. Are we good? Are we Gucci? Sweet. All right. I'm going to try to go through this pretty quickly, but hi, my name is Troy Fields. I used to be engineer. Now I'm a technical product manager. I've worked in jet engines, metal 3D printing. I took a short stint at the VC firm, and I spent the last 4 or 5 years in the gaming industry. And today I'm going to show you how I use Cursor pretty much every day to build games for iOS. I started this about February 2025, actually right when I moved to Seattle. I just had a daily, what did it go off? Yeah, it's not sure. Tag screen. Good to go. Sweet. Cool. So every morning for basically the last year and a half, I've opened up Cursor and I've tried to add one new feature or game to one of my iOS apps. So I have 2 main apps. One is Fastl, one is called Airplane Mode Games. You can find them on the iOS store. I have a ton of other ones, but Apple really hates me when I try to submit certain AI feature stuff. Now, by a show of hands real quick, who played Wordle today? Who still plays Wordle? There's still a few people. Okay, cool. So one of my apps is called Fastl. It's play on Wordle. It's basically a 5-minute 3-round Wordle. There's about around 500 daily active users and close to 5,000 monthly active users. A fun little project I did. But my main one is called Airplane Mode Games. So if you've ever been on a long flight and you can't play Clash of Clans or something because you need the internet connection, I built a portfolio of mini games that you can play on Airplane Mode without any internet or anything like that. Just to show some of my stats, you can see exactly when I moved to Seattle by my GitHub, right there in February when I started to just use Cursor every morning when there was no sunshine. Now, what we're going to do today is we're actually going to build
a new game inside of my app live, and hopefully it works. Let's make this back in here. Check, check, check. Can you still hear me? Awesome. Cool. So first off, this is on iOS, and I personally haven't curated any of the organization of any of the files. I just dump everything in and let Cursor run for it. I've seen other Cursor demos and pass me some stuff where, like, the first step, if you want to follow along, is clone this GitHub repo. You have to learn this specific like framework, or this one. I have a little bit of knowledge. This is all completely raw dog. Like, it's just you, Cursor, and Xcode, and I let Cursor do pretty much everything. I used to build apps manually, but I let Cursor basically do all the lifting of it. So first, I'm going to show you what this app looks like real quick in the simulator, and then we're going to go do some prompting in Cursor. And while this is booting up, it's been really cool. While this is booting up, one of the really cool things using this pretty much every day for the last year and a half is how check. Check. Hello. Check 1, 2, 3. There it is. Get in here. Check 1, 2, 3. You did. Check. Cool. All right, so I'll just go ahead and jump into this. This is what my app looks like. It's not the prettiest, but it does the job. I started with 3 very simple apps or games inside my app, and now it's I don't know how many, 15 plus, something like that. There's over like tens of thousands of levels of these. So I have some users, for instance, on my sort game. If you played Magic Sort, if you've ever seen anything like that, I have some users that are on level like 7,000 or something like that. They basically just are addicted to this, and it's hilarious. And a lot of interesting stuff. I have like Dots. If you remember Dots, they took it off the App Store, but I put it back in here. Have a little tower defense, word wheel, Sudoku, Minesweeper, everything like that. So what we're going to do today is, I told you I had an app called Fastall. It's a Wordle clone. One of the questions I get a lot from my friends and the users is, why don't you have Wordle in airplane mode games? I just want to play Wordle while on airplane, just endless rounds. And that's a great question. So we're going to add Wordle to my app today, and hopefully, if this all goes well, I'm going to press the publish button in the next 24 or 48 hours and see if we can get it live. So again, no pre-prompting or anything like that. This is pure just me chatting right now. So I want to add a new game that is basically Wordle. I want 2 modes, endless and timed 5 minutes. Look at the style of Sudoku or Dots for style and Sudoku. So again, nothing fancy to the prompt at all. I'm also using Composer 2.5 here. So you can talk about models later, but I like just going all in. Composer 2.5 is awesome. So we're just going to run train on this and see what it can do as fast as it can. Cool. Let's do that. Okay. Are we back up? So I already kicked it off. It's going. Let's see what we can do at the start of this. So while it's doing that, one of the things I mentioned, using this every day, I've noticed how much the tools have improved, not just Cursor, but all the agentic AI tools. A year ago, I would have to do very specific feature development. I would be like, I want to change this one mechanism, this one component, etc. And I would have to check it a little bit more often. I would do a lot of, quit that, let's try again, refine the prompt a little bit like that. Today, it's like almost perfect all the time. I don't even have to start a new chat. The context compression is all there. It's really amazing to see how much it's changed. So I've gone from like hand holding this to basically letting it do whatever it wants to do. This should hopefully get to a good point here in 2 seconds. Then we can see what it looks like. We got 1 out of 4 steps. And while it's doing that, see if we get there. This might be a dud, but while it's thinking, yeah. I'll share my thoughts on this whole space, which is, here we go. I also use cursor to make these little fun cards here. I wanted to share 3 of my thoughts of using this every day for the last year and a half. One is there's a lot of tools. People argue about what's the best tool, Cloud Code, Codex, whatever. There's always constant arguments. I just like that cursor is one of them, and it changes so much. I see a lot of engineers in the industry be like, well, Cloud's definitely the best, so I only use that, and they only pay attention to it. But I think really people just need to pay attention to the space. And then also I think Composer 2.5 is super underrated right now. I use it for most everything right now. And it's fast, and it has its limits like everything else, but it's super underrated. And the last one is the best AI flow is the one that's fun. So I know we talk about industry and stuff like that. I'm talking about how I use it for personal projects and how it brings fun. Cloud Code might be better at this thing. Codex might be better at another thing. This is the one that I wake up and it's fun for me to use. I'm very familiar with it. And I think that's okay in the tech industry. It's just like, I like this tool. It makes me feel energized. It makes me feel powerful as a developer or an AI-powered developer. So we're going for that. It looks like we have something to show. So let's reboot the simulator and see what it looks like. Wordle might be a very simple example, but I'm also using this for more complex stuff. So 3D games with characters and animations and rigs, I just dump all the 3D assets in there and it goes and hooks everything up. And let's do an endless one. And we got the keyboard, we got a streak, and let's start with my super secret starter word. And that's down the list. Cool. So the next thing I would do if we have more time, but I want to be cautious for the next presenters, is I would say, go look in my Facile Xcode project and steal the target and valid word lists and hook everything up. It would go into my other Xcode project, get the JSON file with all the valid words for Wordle and the target words, which are 2 separate lists, pull them into this project, hook everything up, and it would be pretty much done. So just to show how easy it is in the 4 or 5 minutes that we have here. This is what I do pretty much every day, and I build tons of these little games, and it's a lot of fun. So just want to show off.
So you set a time limit every day, like block a calendar, like part or what?
It's the first meeting of the day. Sets the time. So I do this over my first cup of coffee, and then whenever I have a first meeting, like stand up for something. That's the day job.
Questions?
I was just gonna ask, was it a good demonstration? I'm assuming you don't, you don't submit your App Store games the same way.
I'm sorry?
You don't submit the App Store game in the same type of single one-shot approach, right?
I'll do my own QA if that's what you mean. So I'll play it and make sure it feels good to me. So we just saw 1 iteration. I'll probably do 3 or 4 more iterations, like get the core mechanics right, get the feel right, and then progression. So a lot of game development is you can sort different blocks, like the sorting game I showed. But the hard part is how you create 10,000 unique levels. So that's what we call progression and that level design. So I'll go through a couple of iterations, but this one I would be done in 30 minutes max.
You mentioned Composer. So do you have a mental framework on when to use Opus 4.8 versus Composer? Because in my workflow right now, I go to Composer only when I have bleeded out all my money on 4.8.
Yeah, but it changes every like month or something like that, right? Like, Todd used to be my favorite in Q4, most of last year actually. In Q1, Todd's still one in my opinion, but like I started switching over late Q1, Q2 to GPT 4.5. But I use those big models and expensive models for when I am starting a new project. And like, I don't know exactly where I want to guide this. So I'll give it just like a blanket task to go check out. But after I have some basis, some reference points, so like I have other games. So Composer can look at that and be like, oh, this is how you send analytics data out to my backend server. This is how you're doing haptics and stuff like that. For that stuff, I'll go to Composer. So I'll try Composer first. If it fails out, I'll switch to a big model.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Todd, and I'm without a doubt probably the stupidest person here, so bear with me. I'm also a true vibe coder, so I've been into AI for a long time, but really the tools only got good enough for me to start actually building stuff maybe 2 years ago. And you can see, Troy, I don't know where, yeah, the tools are getting better every day, every week. And it's noticeable to stay on top of what I found to be the next best thing and the next best way to build something or to keep it from breaking or to whatever. So what I'm building is Rewrite, meetrewrite.com. If you think about it from my point of view, where I was building all these things, random apps, games, calendar tools, things like that. And really, eventually I got to a point where some of them had some potential, some runway, but I didn't know how to get it on an app store, whether it was iOS or Google. And I asked all the people that I knew, you know, that had some development experience at least, you know, is there a tool that takes my current code base and turns it into fully native Swift code? And at the time, the answer was no. And actually, I'm fairly certain Troy did something pretty close to what I'm doing a little bit, but nobody is doing exactly what I'm attempting to do. And so I'll just start getting into it because we have, where did Adam go? 4 minutes? All right, so it's meetrewrite.com. That's all you have to do. And then Rewrite starts scanning your code. It's taking headless browser screenshots of every page in the code base. And for, you know, purposes of the demo, I'm going to fast forward. So I've got a couple of tabs open here. The screen and the screen capture and the scan takes about 90 seconds, sometimes 3 minutes. And then this screen would be the next step. So it's saying, okay, we've captured your brand. We've got your, you know, we've basically marked your color palettes, your voice, all of the things that go into building a brand on a web app or an app any. We redesigned it to make it look and feel more, I would say native, but appy. It needs to be a word for that. But anyhow, and then this first one is free. So stands right now, I would love it for any and all of you guys that have something that could be a native iOS app. Please go to Meet Rewrite It's free for right now, and mess around with it. Tell me what breaks. Tell me where I could improve. That's really the angle for me wanting to show this, because I want to get it out there a little bit. Basically, still not done, but working on it. So this is what it spit out. And it's, you know, I'm dog fooding it. So basically I put in my current app into building its own app, basically. I would say start to design, and then eventually, so there's a rendering error here with my logo. I can go here to edit, and I can go to talk to AI. Done this before. Go here. And of course, it takes a while. So what I'm going to do is fast forward. But you get the idea. You can do an AI versions where you're talking to an actual agent. You can look at every single element on a given screen, and I call screens or pages kind of interchangeably. But you can adjust it by choosing something and then moving or hiding or changing text size, positioning, box width or height, keep things on one line. So it's really just a basic editing tool. And then the step that takes the longest actually is the rendering of each page, each individual page. And you would come to this page after the AI finishes its design. You would go through each one, and you can edit it in the same way that I edited the free preview. I also skipped the pay part. So I've got Stripe integrated, and the free preview is, you know, on the house, right? But if you want to progress and see the rest of what your iOS app would look like, go through a series of questions, and you have some choices around support packages and level of AI polish and things like that. And then it's a 20%, normally, you guys, it's free, but normally it's a 20% deposit. You build the screens, you make them how you want, approve them all, and then when we go to build the source code, you get charged the balance. So this is, you know, an example of what the second page on my, that you guys saw on my app will look like on the phone. And from here, once it's approved, the source code actually only takes a few minutes to write. There's a series of, you know, trying to think of the word here, but making sure that we caught everything. Asking, you know, what exactly needs to go into your app, what's the true intent, what's the scope of the build, what tools you've used, what third-party tools, etc., so that we actually know what to build. And then it's fairly simple, walks you through every single step of the, well, right now for the Xcode and the test flight. Not doing Google yet, the Android store yet. That's going to be next, but focus on iOS, which is why I asked your question, because I feel like the type of apps that people would want to make native would only be, or not only, I should say, but mostly be Apple Store. And then you download the folder, plug it into Xcode, sign capabilities, blah, 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 and it's ready to ship to submittal. And really, that's it. You can do this with web app, a website, a web store, dashboard. It can also integrate with Shopify if you don't have code, or, you know, WordPress sites where you're not in control of the code necessarily. We can still build an iOS app, fully native, Swift UI. And I use Cursor primarily as my main coding agent. And Troy also said that 2.5 very underrated. I honestly think it's better than Opus 4.8 in a lot of ways. And it's fast and cheap. So that's really it. No questions. Oh, one question.
Yeah, I'm curious about the piece you mentioned about the headless snapshots. I'm just curious if you could speak to any of the challenges you had setting that up. I guess if you're running this from like a serverless environment, how did you do so? Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I told you in the beginning, I'm really stupid as far as technology goes. So I will try to answer your questions as intelligently as I can. I think what you're asking is what am I using to get the screenshots? Is that effectively? Yeah. So it's a combination of Playwright and I'm forgetting the second tool. So I basically hardwired Playwright using a Chrome headless browser, and it starts scanning or taking screenshots as soon as you enter in the URL. So even before the repo is scanned, and then it tries to find the, you know, if there's things like logo images or hero X, Y, and Z or color palette or brand design, anything like that in the scan, and then cross-references it. Then it goes into an LLM. Usually, or right now, I'm using GPT 5.4, which I've found to be, from a design standpoint, the best. If you did a side-by-side, give, you know, 5 or 6 different models, same prompt. Actually, very interesting because it took me about 2 weeks to get the LLMs to respect consistency on each page. And they would, you know, they like to just do different things, even if you're trying to tell them, hey, these are my brand colors. You know, on one page, they'd be exactly right. On the next page, it's hallucinating, you know, green into purple. So that really took me a long time to hone in, and I tried different attacks methods to figure that out. Just a lot of kind of trial and error.
Have you considered using a frameworks like Flutter for that iOS and Android compatibility? Because I think what you're doing is amazing and there's a lot of potential, like Base 44 that's proven, and what you're doing is making app development more accessible for like smaller businesses similar to Base 44.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of these companies coming out, and I, you know, done my research, especially the last couple of weeks. I'm not too familiar with Flutter. I know that that's what a lot of these kind of Rapify companies are using. I'll look into it for sure, and I appreciate the nice things you said. That's good to hear. You know, Base 44. Have you guys ever heard of Famous.ai? No. There's 7 or 8. I'll get your question here for a second. I wanted to say 3 things. So, or these 3 things. This concept is for people like me, not for developers, right? I mean, you could build. Probably everybody in this room could build something similar quickly. This is for people that built a web app from natural language in 30 minutes and don't know what to do with it. Or this is for small businesses, you know, that had the same website for 20 years and, you know, they're missing a ton of business by not having a native app. And then it's also, I mean, think about how many, there's 5.3 million apps on the 2 main app stores. Probably 4.5 million of those are garbage, right? So there's a big market opportunity to fix old apps. And I hope that, yeah, I'll figure out Flutter. Troy, did you have something?
I was just saying I know Famous.ai.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a question. So, Apple has some weird restrictions. For example, if you have, you know, so if you have Google sign up, like it enforces Apple, you know, sign on as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to try and do the on the fly demo mode, but there's an entire step here that I haven't showed about what Apple looks for, what not to do. If you have X, then you do Y. basically it accounts for all the stinginess, the strictness of the apps of the Apple store. We don't guarantee that you're going to get your app on the store, nor do we make $1 more if you do. But the whole idea is to give you the best shot and give you all the tools. And so I actually, thank you for asking that. There's actually 2 different AIs, 2 different models. There's a design and review model, and then there's agent rather, and there's the support agent. And the support agent has a ton of all of this, the App Store specific requirements. And so, the idea is somebody who doesn't understand all of that can just follow the directions.
Awesome. Thank you. And last, we got Tony. Cool.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Tony. I'm going to take you on a journey through my adventure. And it starts 8 months ago. Oops, maybe I'm doing a bad job at showing my journey. Got it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So 8 months ago, a little background. I worked at Amazon for a long time. I did a bunch of stuff in video games. I was on the team that helped buy Twitch and then created this program called Twitch Prime, which is like games with gold with Prime members. I worked in video games for 15 years, always wanted to make my own video games. 8 months ago, I started trying to make video games, and it was really hard, even with AI. Animations were impossible to make. Stuff didn't look good. So you can see what this early iteration of this thing I was trying to make was. Starts out with like a little cutscene, visual novel. The assets are all very rudimentary. You can see none of them look like they fit together. I have a pretty simple like attack mode here thing that's going on, and I'll show you what this is what the actual game looked like for a while, right? And then I went and I tried to go make animations, make this little guy walk around, have enemies that would fight, and the foundational models just couldn't do it. Getting a person to walk, getting a person to swing a sword was impossible. They were changing clothes every other step. They were putting hats on and taking them off when in between frames of the animation. And so I went to Cursor and Lovable, and I built a bunch of tools to solve that. And I got a bunch of my buddies using it. We got to talk. I think that you and I can have a lot of fun together. I looked up one day and I was spending like $2,000 a month in compute. And so I called my buddy and I said, hey, let's make this a real business. Let's start helping people make video games. So then he came in and helped me make it into a real thing that could start making animations that still weren't very good. But this was maybe like, call this 5 months ago is what this was. And this is still Cursor. I'm still building stuff. My buddy's helping me build animations that don't suck. We've still got this little intro scene that's terrible. You can see none of the assets match. But now I've got little sprites. I've got some UI. It looks a little bit more like a video game instead of this thing. And now I've got a background. This guy can walk around. He's got little, I call him the Flexecutioner. He's got little dumbbells that he walks around with, and there's fight scenes. There's some animations, yada yada yada, right? So this is looking a little better. Still does not look like a video game that you would play. This would be laptop Steam. And so kept iterating, and eventually created what is now called Mako.ai. This is an AI 2D game development platform. You can make all the art that you need for a 2D game and then prototype things in our Code Studio. This is actually not what I'm here to talk to you about, but I need to set the stage for what I am here to talk to you about. And again, all of this started in Cursor with prototyping Cursor. So now games look more like this in our platform. The UX is more unified. There's like actual UI. There's animations that happen that don't look completely disjointed. Everything looks like it's in the same universe. The color palettes, the roughness or the grittiness. This guy's walking around in a viewport that follows him, so there's like a game camera. All this stuff looks like more like a video game. And the way that we do that is by unifying the way that the art looks and feels in our collection system. We set direction with concept art, and then we drill down into the individual assets. So that's this product. I'm not going to talk a ton about that other than I prototyped a bunch of it in Cursor. As we launch this product, we've now got 10,000 users. Anyone wants to come join, go make games with your kids, have a blast. We've been doing a lot of prospecting, a lot of marketing on Reddit. The agents, they respond to Reddit really well. They're citing it all over the place. And so if you can get really information-dense content out on Reddit regularly, the agents are going to start citing it, and you're going to start getting traffic. I know this because I get about 50 free signups a day, specifically from agentic citations of things that I've posted on Reddit. I'm going to show you how we do that. So I had one of the guys on my team who has less than no technical experience. He's definitely dumber than you, no doubt in my mind. And he built this in the last 72 hours, specifically to solve this problem that we have at hand, so I could present this here with Adam at the event. Thank you, Adam, really appreciate it. And so what this does, it's a very simple Reddit scraper. It allows you to create projects. I'll show you the output here. But basically, you create a new project. You just give it the URL of your website, right? So I'll go to mako.ai, and I'll show you what the start to this funnel looks like. You literally just pop it in here, fetch and analyze. It's going to do some thinking, and it's going to pull back some configuration about like what it thinks my website is about, and what kind of subreddits I should go look at, and what keywords I should be optimizing for, and basically what subreddits and conversations the ChatGPT thinks my customers are based on my website. And then I review this, I make sure it's right. I'm not going to go through all this with you live, but you can see there are many different sections here for the keywords that we should track, the subreddits that we should track, our competitors. You can add negative keywords, so you're not pulling things back that you don't want. And the output from this ultimately looks like the Mako AI Game Studio demo here. Every couple hours, I pop in here in the middle of my workday, no matter what I'm doing. It's super simple. I hit scrape now. It starts scraping. It does this thing for about a minute, 50 seconds or so, and it starts pulling back new results from Reddit based on the thing that I just said. More than 70% of them are garbage, and you don't want to use them. That's why we have this dismiss button. And then as I'm on calls or talking to people that I'm trying to sell me something, or like I have time, I'm just dismissing things and keeping the things that I want. And then for about 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, I go through and I try to plow through maybe 12 to 15, sometimes 20 of these opportunities to engage in interesting ways on Reddit. And I'm going to walk you through a few things. All this sounds really straightforward until the application. So now I'm going to go show you this person who seems to have made a hand-drawn, illustrated Dungeons and Dragons character of their Minotaur barbarian, who's also a druid. This is that image here. It's beautiful. This person's gonna be one of the leading artists of our era. So I took this, put it into Mako, and I made their Minotaur hanging out in the way that they've described it. And then I drew some scenes of that Minotaur going from kind of the hero's journey. They're sitting in their field in the way that it was drawn. Then they get promoted to a wizard or a druid via this druidic ritual. You can see their masters around them with the animals and the spirits, the forest animal spirits. And then they become a barbarian. They've got their druid staff. It's a little more badass now. They're a little ripped. They're fighting in the Colosseum. And so now I'm going to go back. I literally created all this stuff like while we were sitting here and people were talking, uploaded it to Imager. And I just made a little fun, engaging thing. This guy's super cute. I made some scenes of him starting off in front of the gate, blah, blah, blah. Linked it on Imager. Now I'm going to comment and, coin flip, 50% chance this person gets back to me and says, oh my God, that's so cool. That engagement opens the door for them me to come back and say, hey, I built this on Mako, go check it out, DM them, onboard them as a usable platform. And sometimes that doesn't happen, and that's fine. And so we have more what I would call aggressive measures. So for here, for these examples, there are dozens of these threads every day where people are just saying, you have a startup, please post the information about your startup. No one's going to read this thread. 0 humans are going to see this. It's going to get 50 views. But the agents are going to read this thread. And if your information is dense enough, they will start citing stuff like this when people ask things like, where do I go make 2D assets for video games with AI? So I go every morning to Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini, and I ask them to write, sorry, not Claude, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, and Gemini. I ask them to write me a blurb that they would cite if they saw on Reddit for a 2D game maker or 2D art engine. I take those blurbs and I reply to these things, again, 15, 20 times a day. No one's going to read it but the agents. So it really doesn't matter what you put there as long as it's not complete slop. So in this case, I tell people I've got this thing, it's Mako, it makes video games. I give them an example of the video game I'm making, and then I move on. And so, again, this is all produced prototype. Someone said earlier that, sorry, I want to leave something more interesting up on the screen. That the Cursor is a great prototyping tool, and I totally agree. I know that like I wouldn't be able to work with my team the way I do without Cursor being as flexible it is to plug into everything. Like when we started building Mako on Lovable, I just hooked up Cursor to Lovable and started making changes on like directly into our platform and our tool. CEO hated it, CTO hated it, so I stopped doing that. But I was able to do that as a lay member of the company. Now that we have these marketing tools that we're building, I do all of the feature work in Cursor. We generally move that over to Claude because that's where our real engineers who are not the marketing people are deploying things. But almost all of the feature work for anything that is not core Mako now is done in Cursor and then shipped over to our core stack. So That's what we're doing, and I'd love to answer any questions.
This was super fun, and I need help with Reddit because whenever I get too egoistic, I just go to Reddit and get my feelings hurt and get banned.
Ego death.
So how do so you shared this tool? How does it work, and how can I leverage it to engage with users without getting banned from like various different places?
So I'm not going to stand up here and tell anyone that we're going to keep you from getting banned. I am banned in many places. Someone called me a plague on the video game industry last month. By the way, I gave $30 million to streamers when I was in Twitch Pro. So definitely not a plague on the industry, but so you might get banned. It's just going to happen, right? But what we do is we allow you to create personas in the tool. I didn't run through all that, but there's literally a thing called create persona. You have to do a little work to like go look at what the Reddit's about and like tell the AI like, hey, these are the kind of posts that are successful. Here's a couple examples. Here's my summary of why I think it's successful. And then the AI will create a persona that then you create a button that says draft reply, and it's going to create a reply that it thinks is best to keep you from getting banned in that subreddit. You still got to apply human thought. Like everything we build at the company, we say you got to have human in the loop where you want to be. We want to get rid of the boring stuff, but you still got to do the critical thinking. You got to decide that you're going to take the person's minotaur and put it in a field and then turn it into a shaman and then turn it into a barbarian, right? The AI is not going to tell you that. And if it does, it's probably going to suck. Any more questions?
Can it automatically like post replies on Reddit, or does it always have a human in the loop?
Not yet. There's a bunch of privacy, safety, like stuff that you have to mitigate. I'm not gonna say get around up here, but I guess I just did get around with the auto reply stuff. And so I have a whole bunch of phantom accounts that are getting banned every day right now, figuring out how to do that.
Yes, if you could like create a lot of accounts on the fly and then like an agent draft the replies to have a human.
You're going down the path we're going down. We're doing a lot of daisy training. We're doing a lot of
I've done that.
We're doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
We actually have an agent that's out there buying accounts as well, right?
Okay.
Just making offers for accounts that have 500 karma and then part of the
Yeah.
And by the sorry, it's all Perdley. If anyone has a question, HEARDLEY, like I heard it, and then LEY. And I think I'm on the invite stuff for this. So if you want to reach out, you can.
Yeah, send information afterwards for all the people who presented. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone else who presented.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming. So this concludes our meetup for today. We're going to have personal meetups every single month going forward. So I'm going to try to have something for July as well. And I will definitely send an email for the feedback on what you guys would like to see more in the next meetup. So if you guys have any feedback, feel free to share that in the feedback form that I shared. And hope that this was fun. And I hope to see you guys next time.
Thank you.